BAC members, BAC Secretariat, BAC DPWH, to our observer, to our prospective leaders, and of course to all our viewers via Facebook Live. We will conduct the private conference for civil works projects with contract ID number 24DT014 to 24DT0111. Acknowledging the presence of our very own Vice Chairperson, Engineer Juan Pangaliban. May I request our BAC Secretariat member, Ms. Maria Cecilia B. Baril, for the roll call of our attendees.
Good morning. Thank you po. Present from the BAC members are Engineer Juan J. Pangaliban, BAC Chairperson, Engineer Leo S. Matias, BAC Vice Chairperson, Engineer Evan B. Gonzalez, BAC Member, Engineer Jose Crisostomo M. Villalobos Jr., Provisional BAC Member. From BAC Secretariat, yours truly, Ms. Maria Cecilia B. Baril, Engineer Christine A. Luwalhati, and Ms. Raquel C. Mercado. From BAC DPWH, Accountant Grace and M. Gonzalez. To enhance the transparency of the bidding process, we have invited observers. We have Ms. Marivic Balotcopo from Commission on Audit.
Present.
From prospective bidders, we have no attendance. In attendance, we have 4 BAC members present, so we have quorum. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baril. So, before we proceed to our agenda, let me remind you the purpose of this conference. Under Section 22.3 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184, it states that the private conference shall discuss, clarify, and explain, among other things, the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of contract to be bid, including questions and clarifications raised by the prospective bidders before and during the private conference. Meaning, the main purpose of this is to avoid or minimize the rated failed bidding documents during the preliminary evaluation of bids. The BAC is expecting that the documents to be submitted during the bidding will follow or comply with the procedure prescribed, and to what are we going to discuss here. The private conference provides the procuring entities and prospective bidders clear guidelines and provide an avenue for clarification to enhance efficient and effective procurement process. So the topics to be discussed will be divided into 4 as follows. Number 1 is the brief presentation of the contract data. Number 2 is the component of the technical and financial proposal. Number 3 is the explanation of criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, and post-qualification. And last is the contract awarding. So the questions or comments from our prospective bidders will be entertained after all topics have been presented. During the discussion, kindly reserve your questions. We will have time for the open forum for all your questions. For agenda number 1, for the presentation of the contract data, may I call on Engineer Jose Crisostomo and Villalobos Jr., our provisional BAC member.
Good morning. For the presentation of basic contract data, for contract ID number 24DD0104 to 24DD0111, implementing office and construction section. For For contract ID number 24DD0104, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, rehabilitation of San Vicente, Bagong Pook Road, Lipa City, Batangas. Scope of works, asphalt overlay of 2,012.6 linear meter road with varying width of 4 meters to 6.7 meters and thickness of 50 millimeter, reblocking of 912.1 linear meter road with varying width of 4 meters to 6.7 meters and thickness of 0.2 meter. Application of concrete joint sealant and reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings for edge lines and center lines. Approved budget for the contract, 42,140,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act. Contract duration, 150 calendar days. Size range, medium A. License category B. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, RRA, roads, rehabilitation, asphalt. For the similar categories of works, RCA, roads, construction, asphalt. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0105, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, rehabilitation of road at East District, Lipa City, Batangas. Scope of works, asphalt overlay of 8,133 square meter road with varying width of 5 meters to 11.5 meters and thickness of 50 millimeter, including removal of 2,535 square meter ACP, reblocking of 2,521 square meter road with thickness of 0.28 meter and application of 394 square meter reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings for edge lines and center lines. Approved budget for the contract, 35,280,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act. Contract duration, 170 calendar days. Size range, medium A. License category B. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, RRA, roads, rehabilitation, asphalt. For the similar categories of works, RCA, roads, construction, asphalt. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD106, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, access and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, improvement of road including drainage system, Barangay Banaba, Barangay Tamak, Padre, Garcia, Batangas. Scope of works, asphalt overlay of 1,200 linear meter road with varying width of 5 meters to 9 meters and thickness of 50 millimeter. Improvement of 1,040 linear meter drainage with blocking of 31.5 linear meter road, 90 square meter with thickness of 0.2 meter. Application of 73.8 linear meter concrete joint sealant and 420 square meter reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings for edge lines and center lines. Approved budget for the contract, 29,700,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act. Contract duration, 197 calendar days. size range small B, license category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, RRA, roads, rehabilitation, asphalt. For the similar categories of works, RCA, roads, construction, asphalt. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0107, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Multipurpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, Construction of Multipurpose Building at Inusnuban, Marawi Elementary School, Barangay Marawi, Lipa City, Batangas. Scope of works, construction, completion of 4-story 20 classroom school building, including finishing works, electrical works, and mechanical works. Approved budget for the contract, 29,700,000 pesos. Source of funds, 0110101 SR 2024-01-001323. Contract duration, 180 calendar days. Size range, small B. License category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, BIC, WO, PLC, buildings, construction, without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0108, Convergence and Special Support Program, Special Road Fund, Motor Vehicle Users Charge, NPUC, as per RA 11239, installation of roadway lighting structures, Padre, Garcia, Batangas. Scope of works, installation of 54 and 174 wired street lights with length of 670 linear meter and 5,515 linear meter along Lipa, Rosario Road, Section 1, and Batangas, Quezon Road, Section 2, respectively. Approved budget for the contract, 29,400,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act. Contract duration, 120 calendar days. Size range, small P, license category C and D. For the major categories of works involved in the contract to be bid, PEMS, Traffic Engineering and Management System, including road safety devices. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0109, Convergence and Special Support Program, construction, improvement of access roads leading to trades, industries, and economic zones, roads leveraging linkages for industry and trade infrastructure program, Roll IT, construction of road leading to Bagong Industrial Zone, Barangay Santo Niño, Ibahan, Batangas. Scope of works, construction of 392 linear meter road with width of 6.7 meters and thickness of 0.28 meter, construction of 377 linear meter drainage system using 910 millimeter diameter RCPC on right side, including sidewalk, manhole, curb and gutter. Approved budget for the contract, 19,600,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriation Act. Contract duration, 189 calendar days. Size range, small B, license category C and D. For the major category of works involved in the contract to be bid, RCP, roads, construction, PCCP. For the similar categories of works, RRP, roads, rehabilitation, PCCP, RCPP, roads, construction, tunnel, PCCP. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0110, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Multipurpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, construction of multipurpose facilities at Barangay Santo Niño, Lipa City, Batangas. Scope of works, construction 19.1 linear meter and 29.1 linear meter bleachers, including roof, steel matting, construction parking, painting works, electrical works, plumbing works of gym, and completion stage. Approved budget for the contract, 9,900,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 120 calendar days. Size range, small b. License category, C and D. For the major categories of works involved in the contract to be bid, BICWO PLC, buildings, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For contract ID number 24DD0111, Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, BIP, Flood Mitigation Structures Protecting Public Infrastructure Facilities, construction of seawall in Barangay Katmon, San Juan, Batangas, Phase 2. Scope of works, construction of 25 linear meter concrete seawall using steel sheet piles foundation. Approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000 pesos. Source of funds, FY 2024 General Appropriations Act. Contract duration, 51 calendar days. Size range, small b. License category, C and D. For the major categories of works involved in the contract to be bid, FCSPS, flood control, construction, slope protection using structural measures. For the similar categories of works are the following. For the minimum major equipment requirements are the following. For the minimum material testing equipment for major contractors, for contract ID numbers 24DD0104 to 24DD0105 are the following. For the minimum material testing equipment for small contractors, for contract ID numbers 24DD0106 to 24DD0111 are the following. Manpower requirements for contract ID numbers 24DD0104 to 24DD0109 are the following. Manpower requirements for contract ID numbers 24DD0110 to 24DD0111 are the following. For manpower requirements, accredited safety officer required upon issuance of notice of award, subject to DEO 98 series of 2014, submission of construction safety and health program approved by the Department of Labor and Employment. For additional requirements for construction safety and health officer, the assigned personnel must meet the requirements of Safety Officer 3 with additional 48 hours of advanced specialized occupational safety training course relevant to the industry as prescribed in the Republic Act number 11058 issued through DO 198 series of 2018 of DOLE. First aider with certificate of training issued by Red Cross in compliance to DOLE requirements for DO 98 series of 2014. The key personnel should meet the following number of years work experience. 1. Experience means total years of civil works experience of any nature in construction and engineering consultancy services. 2. Include the tax identification number of the key personnel. Compliance to DO 98 series of 2016, revised guidelines on the accreditation of contractors, consultants, materials engineer. And 3. Include the contact number of the materials engineer. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished gentlemen. Mr. Engineer Jose Crisostomo M. Villalobos Jr. And now, Ms. Maria Cecilia Vibaril will further explain the agenda number 2, the eligibility requirements and the technical and financial components of the contract to be bid.
Checklist for the preliminary examination of technical and financial proposal. Checklist of technical proposal shown. Technical proposal must be composed of the following: Class A documents, legal documents, valid PhilJobs registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. Under Section 8.5.2 of 2016 revised IRR, the bidder shall upload and maintain in PhilJobs a current and updated file of the following Class A eligibility documents under Sections 23.1A and 24.1A. Registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, Department of Trade and Industry for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority for cooperatives. Mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. A recently expired mayor's or business permit, together with the official receipt as proof that the prospective bidder has applied for renewal within the period prescribed by the concerned local government unit, shall be accepted by the PhilJobs for the purpose of updating the PhilJobs Certificate of Registration and Membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of 2016 revised IRR. Tax clearance for EO number 398, series of 2005, as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Technical documents, statement of the bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of the bidders in the largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Valid Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board license, or special pickup license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. Original copy of bid security. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. Project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, duly signed list of contractors, key personnel, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, construction safety officer, and foremen to be assigned to the contract with their complete qualification experience state. These personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set in the BDS. Duly signed list of contractors, major construction, and laboratory equipment units to be used for the contract, which are owned, leased, and/or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership, lease, purchase, or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project. These equipment units must meet the minimum major equipment requirements for the contract set in the BDS. Original duly signed and notarized omnibus sworn statement in accordance with Section 25.3 of 2016 revised IRR. Financial documents. The prospective bidder's audited financial statements showing, among others, the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Class B documents. If applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit their respective PhilJobs certificates of registration in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of this IRR. The submission of technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all of its ongoing contracts and audited financial statements. Bidding forms for technical documents. Reminder for the prospective bidder that the bidder shall use the bidding forms. The bidder may download these forms from DPWH website. The bidder may also obtain from procuring entity hard copies of those forms as part of the BDS for the contract. For purposes of determining the eligibility of bidders using the criteria stated in Section 23.4, 2016 revised IRR, only the following documents shall be required by the bank using the forms prescribed in the bidding documents. Bidding documents with prescribed forms shall be considered as compliant. Bid securing declaration. Contractors' organizational chart. List of contractors, key personnel's affidavit. List of contractors' equipment. Omnibus sworn statement. Checklist of financial proposal. Financial proposal shall be composed of the following: original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities, duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid, and cash flow by quarter. Bidding forms for financial documents. Bid form. Summary of bid prices. Bill of quantities. Cash flow. Purchase and submission of bids. A complete set of bidding documents may be acquired by the interested bidders until February 20, 2024. Cut-off time is 9:15 a.m. Bidder must have an approved appointment with specific time schedule. In case of non-appearance, it would automatically mean of cancellation of appointment. Please be informed that on the day of the bidding, the bid opening, the approved appointment intended for purchasing bidding documents will be limited to 10 prospective bidders only to strictly follow the bid opening schedule. Secure the approved appointment to DPWH Batangas@gmail.com. Bids submitted manually must be duly received by the Bank Secretariat at Bidding Room, DPWH Batangas for District Engineering Office, Marawi, Lipa City, Batangas, on or before February 20, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Submission of bids. For electronic submission of bids for civil works projects, it must be sent at electronic_batangas4@dpwh.gov.ph on or before February 20, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. The procedures should be observed following Department Order number 87, Series of 2020. It is also indicated in our bid data sheet. All representatives who will submit their bids must be duly authorized and registered liaison officer as reflected in a contractor's registration certificate. Authorized representatives are required to present their company ID and one government-issued ID for verification purposes.
Thank you, Ms. Maria Cecilia B. Barreto. So, for agenda number 3, the explanation of criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, evaluation of bids, and post-qualification will be presented by Accountant Grace Ann Gonzalez, our DPWH member.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. For the explanation of preliminary examination of bids, eligibility screening, bid evaluation, and post-qualification. Preliminary examination of bids, technical proposal. The purpose of this examination is solely to determine the presence or absence of each of the required documents comprising the bid, as stated in section 3.5.2, using a simple non-discretionary pass if present or fail if absent criteria with the aid of checklist. The bank shall first open and undertake the preliminary examination of the envelopes containing the technical components of the bids. The bank shall determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for a technical component. If the required document is present, the technical component shall be rated as passed for that particular requirement. On the other hand, if the required document is absent, that is missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient, the technical component shall be rated as failed for that particular requirement. Shall rate the technical component as failed and immediately return to the bidder concerned its second envelope financial component. Eligibility screening. After the preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids, the BAC, assisted by its BAC Secretariat, shall conduct the eligibility check of each bidder that passed the documentary requirements for the technical. BAC shall determine if the bidder is eligible to bid for the contract being procured. This shall be done electronically using the DPWH CWA. The CWA program will then electronically process and match the bidder's capability or eligibility data in the CWA. For example, value of the SLCC for major similar categories of works and actual NFCC against the eligibility requirements for the contract derived from the CP earlier entered into the CWA. Section 4.8.2. For example, required SLCC costing at least 50% of ABC and NFCC at least equal to ABC. The computer program will automatically determine if the bidder meets the following eligibility requirements. First one is the cost of the bidder's LCC is at least 50% of the ABC of the project to be procured. Second one is the bidder's NFCC is at least equal to ABC of the project to be procured. However, the contractors under small B category with similar experience of the contract to be bid may be allowed to bid up to 30 million based on the guidance as prescribed by the BCAM. Preliminary examination of bids, financial proposal. The BAC shall open the second envelope financial proposal of each past bidder and shall evaluate it using non-discretionary criteria including arithmetical corrections for computational errors and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The BAC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. Receipt of the scanned copies of the second bid envelope with the required forms such as duly signed bid form, price schedules, or other forms prescribed in 2016 revised IRR for electronic or online bid submission shall be considered as compliant with the requirements of the said bid submission. Bid evaluation. The BAC will immediately conduct detailed evaluation of all bids using the non-discretionary criteria considering the following. A. Completeness of the bid. Unless the instruction to bidders specifically allow partial bids, bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents including, where applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as non-responsive, but specifying a zero or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free to the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for, and arithmetical corrections. Consider computational errors and omissions to enable proper comparison of all eligible bids. It may also consider bid modifications if expressly allowed in the bidding documents. Any adjustment shall be calculated in monetary terms to determine the calculated prices. In case of discrepancies between bid prices in figures and in words, the latter shall prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item, the latter shall prevail. Stated total price and the actual sum of prices of component items, the latter shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the latter shall prevail. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications, to identify the lowest calculated bid. Total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other bid modifications which exceed the ABC shall be disqualified. Post-qualification. The lowest calculated bid shall undergo post-qualification in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents. Within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the BAC that the bidder has the lowest calculated bid, the bidder shall submit to the BAC its latest income and business tax returns and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding documents. Failure to submit any of the post-qualification requirements on time or a finding against the veracity thereof shall disqualify the bidder for award, provided that in the event that the finding against the veracity of any of the documents submitted is made, it shall cause the forfeiture of the bid security in accordance with Section 69 of this IRR. The post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the Belgium Certificate of Registration and membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of this IRR, and all these other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder with the lowest calculated bid, using non-discretionary criteria as stated in the bidding documents. These criteria shall be considered but shall not be limited to the following legal requirements: to verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 25.3 of 2016 Revised IRR. Technical requirements: verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project for the procurement of infrastructure projects and consulting services. Verification of availability and commitment, and/or inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment units to be owned, leased, or under purchased by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding, as well as checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these ongoing contracts show negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 calendar days and to complete them within 30 calendar days after the receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance within 30 calendar days and complete them within 90 calendar days after the receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. Or substandard quality of work as per contract license specifications, or unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. DO number 127, Series 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of the post-qualification of bidders and the delay in ongoing contracts with the DPWH. If the BAC verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award for the procurement of infrastructure projects. Financial requirements: to verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price proposal of the bidder, and whenever applicable, the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of the transaction. If the BAC determines that the bidder with the lowest calculated bid passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall declare the said bid as the lowest calculated responsive bid.
Thank you, Accountant Grace and Gonzalez. So for agenda number 4, the award of contract. The contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid, or LCRB, as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. So additional reminder, in accordance with the Department Order number 11, Series of 2021, and RA 9184 and its IRR Section 37.1.4, the notice of award, or NOA, shall require the bidder with the LCRB to submit to the procuring entity within 10 calendar days from the bidder's receipt of the NOA the following documents as conditions for the signing of the contract award. Letter A is the notice of award with the bidder's signed conform. Letter B is the authority of signing official or board resolution or secretary's certificate. Letter C is for a joint venture agreement, joint venture contractors, pickup special JB license and JB agreement. Letter D, performance security in accordance with Section 39 of revised IRR of RA 9184. Letter E is the construction method used form DPWH-INFR-45. Letter F is the construction schedule in the form of residence diagram and bar chart with S-curve or other approved tools of project scheduling and cash flow. Use form DPWH-INFR-46. Letter G is demand power schedule. Use form DPWH-INFR-47. Letter H is the equipment utilization schedule. Use form DPWH-INFR-48. And letter I, the construction safety and health program. Use form DPWH-INFR-49, initially approved by the DOLE. Letter J is the contractor's all risk insurance or CARI. Letter K is the latest income tax and business returns duly stamped and received by the BIR and duly validated with the tax payments made. Tax clearance from the BIR to prove full and timely payment of the taxes. And letter L for local contractors, certification under oath stating that the contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities. So for the performance security, so this is from our RA 9184 and its revised IRR, section 39.3. The performance security shall remain valid until issuance of the procuring entity of the certificate of final acceptance. Section 39.4. The performance security may be released by the procuring entity after issuance of the certificate of final acceptance subject to the following condition. Letter A is the procuring entity has no claims filed against the contract awardee or the surety company. Letter B, it has no claims for labor and materials filed against the contractor. And letter C for other terms of the contract. And section 39.5, for the procurement of infrastructure projects, the winning bidder shall post an additional performance security following the schedule above to cover any cumulative increase of more than 10% over the original value of the contract as a result of amendments to order, change orders, extra work orders, and supplemental agreements, as the case may be. The winning bidder shall cause the extension of the validity of the performance security to cover approved contract time extensions. So for the contractor's all risk insurance or CARI, as per Department Order 172, Series of 1994, additional premiums shall only be paid in cases where the contract time is extended due to additional works or where the project cost is increased for similar reason without necessarily extending the contract time. The additional work shall be insured upon approval of the applicable variation order, change order or extra work orders, or any supplemental agreement in the full value of the approved additional works. So for any supplemental or bid bulletin issued by Lipa, it shall be posted on the PhilJEBs and the website of the procuring entity concerned, if available. For other matters, just a reminder to all prospective bidders, all bidding documents should be printed in A4 size bond paper, properly paginated, with its contents appropriately airtagged. All attached replicated documents should be certified true copies, and all pages of the bid are duly signed by the prospective bidders. So let's now move on to our open forum. We will now proceed for the comments, queries from our prospective bidders to our viewers via FB, Facebook Live and other attendees. The forum is now open for your questions and comments.
None.
To our back members, is there any comments or any clarification? None. To our back secretariat? None. To our back PWG? None. So to our observer, ma'am? None. To our viewers? None. So hearing none. So everything is clear. I give adjourn the conference at 10:37 in the morning. Thank you.